Hey, everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Fast Chat for Sunday, February 10th, 2019. First and foremost, the most important Y&R chat of the week is, of course, regarding the passing away of Christophe St. John. I recorded a completely separate podcast to talk about that. It just did not feel right to discuss anything having to do with Christophe or the loss of Neil in the same place that I'm talking about a weekly TV show that's airing. So I am not going to speak about Christophe in this recording, but you should check your feeds for wherever you normally watch or listen to Y&R Chat, and we will together kind of talk about that there. This is just to talk about the week's worth of Y&R. Now, I'm still in the midst of my move, so that's why this is going to be a little bit short, but I did watch all of the episodes, and I still want to talk about it with you. I mean, hey, just in case anyone out there hasn't tuned into Y&R for the past year, Nikki killed JT Hellstrom in self-defense. Everyone helped her cover it up, and now Victor is getting ready to go to trial for the crime. Sharon is scrolling through all of these emails from Genoa City residents about their petty complaints when she happens upon an email with the title, "Proof that Victor Newman is a murderer." And attached to this email is an edited recording of Victor and Nick that's taken out of context, and it's making them look like they're blatantly talking about killing JT. So now, this information is in the police's hands, and now both Victor and Nick are implicated in the crime of killing JT. Literally, is there anyone in this town who is not implicated in JT Hellstrom's murder? We have Nikki, Sharon, Phyllis, Victoria, Mariah, Victor, now Nick. Of course, Sharon's first instinct is to delete it. Just get rid of this email and this evidence. But if only it were that easy. Of course, everything has a digital trail. If Sharon were to delete the file, the police could easily find out about it. She could get caught red-handed. And Victor and Nick could still go down anyway. She would just be putting herself into more danger. So Sharon goes to Nick about it, talks to him about it. He seems to understand that she has to do what she has to do. And that's what she does. She turns the email over to Ray. But it is so clear that Sharon's loyalties are with the Newmans. She said this week, quote, "There's a part of me that will always be a Newman." Did that line jog anyone else the way it jogged me? I could not believe I was hearing the words come out of her mouth. There's a part of me that will always be a Newman. I mean, I guess you've been married to 3 of them. Oh, so Sharon is apparently always a Newman this week. Everybody, like the Newmans are being extra Newman-y this week. It is full tilt Newman. Victor and Nick are now back on their healing path. They are partners in crime, literally, with Nikki, trying to cover all this up. There is a very big circling of the wagons of all of the Newmans trying to figure out how they're going to get themselves out of this mess. On Friday, Christine marches into the ranch to haul Victor off to his trial. I did like that there was a teeny tiny moment between Christine and Victor where he said, "Are you happy? You're going to be trying to convict me. Does this make you happy?" And she said, "No, it doesn't make me happy. I once looked up to you." I liked that. I liked that there was a little bit of a nod to the fact that Christine and Victor used to be friends. He mentioned that he was her mentor. I remember this. She was working with him. That was before she decided to take that prosecutor job. But yeah, it wasn't always so hostile between them. I also really liked that Friday's episode had that newscaster framing around it. It was kind of I think, a way to tell the story of where we are today, just in case you missed it for the last year. It was a way to keep everybody up to speed on what's going on. And I think maybe the newscasters they used might have been somebody's. I'm not sure who it was, but I thought it was a clever way to tell the story of that episode. I also thought that Ray looked really hot when he showed up to arrest Victor. He had on his suit, he had on his badge, and he had those big shiny police cuffs. It was a moment watching Victor Newman hold out his paws to have handcuffs put around them. And obviously it was a moment that Nikki could not bear, because as soon as she sees the reality of what Victor's doing for her and the fact that he could potentially go to jail for the rest of his life to protect her, she breaks down. She stops Christine dead in her tracks and says, "There's not going to be a trial. I have something to tell you." She ain't gonna tell Christine nothing. I don't know anything about anything that's gonna happen on Monday, but I do not see Nikki Newman just doing a confession right then and there. It's been a year of everyone saying that they want to confess. Earlier in the episode, Sharon was saying maybe she wanted to confess, it's just, I cannot see a confession happening. But I suppose it's possible. If Nikki was going to confess, I think she should have done it a long time ago. I don't know how Nikki has made it through the past year or the past week or the past day, standing there, letting her husband and maybe now her son too take the rap for this. I just think that Nikki should have owned what she did in self-defense on day one. Yeah, thanks to the Newman family for finally showing up to this investigation. We've been trying to figure out who was framing Victor for, it has to be months now. Come on. It finally occurs to them this week that JT could still be alive and that he could be the one framing Victor. And the fact that they come to this conclusion merely because they break Katie out from behind the walls of the Newman Ranch. She is stuck in a crawl space. And they crack open the walls to look in the crawl space. They see all of the security cameras. They realize that JT must be the one behind it because he was a security expert, and also because Katie provides them with a drawing of her imaginary friend, which is an uncanny likeness, by the way. It looked exactly like JT Hellstrom. Did you see the superhero cape that her imaginary friend clearly had on? Oh. The fact that the Newmans now think that it might be JT makes me not think that it's JT. The fact that they finally gave credence to this theory makes me feel like the theory's out the window. I also keep noticing that everyone, when referring to this person who's framing Victor, they keep saying, "Oh, if he's doing this, we're going to catch him." Like there's a lot of talk about him. And that feels very specific to me. It seems like as the week went on, maybe they weren't as sure that it was JT and they shifted away from that into just saying him, it's him. And that makes me think, well, what if the big twist here is going to be that it's a her? And if so, her who? Abby is doing her part to help the Newman family by getting married. It's actually kind of a good idea. She decides that in order to distract attention away from Victor's trial, she should put some of that attention onto herself. Schedule a big time engagement photo shoot, put those pictures out to the press, and give the public something happy and weddingy to focus on. And it doesn't hurt that Abby and Arturo's engagement being splashed all over all of the magazines at the newsstand and the grocery store doesn't hurt that also rubs the relationship in Mia's face. It's funny that as soon as Mia stopped being catty and started seeming to really reach out to Abby, that Abby got catty and cut her off. I mean, it seemed like at the beginning of the week, actually, no, at the beginning of last week, Abby seemed like she was willing to extend that olive branch with the bouquet of flowers. And yes, the hair cutting episode happened, but Abby didn't know that Mia was thinking about lopping off her head with those scissors. Abby left Mia's apartment feeling awkward, but I didn't think she was feeling extremely upset. But then the beginning of this week, Mia's trying to genuinely reach out to Abby, and Abby shut her down big time. Now, that's not to say that Abby does not have plenty of reason to doubt Mia's sincerity. It just seemed like maybe they were zigging and zagging, like both women came to the conclusion that maybe they should try to get along at different times, and it just wasn't meant to be. I asked you guys in a poll question last week how you're feeling about Mia Rosales. Do you love her? Do you hate her? Do you love to hate her? Now, this is interesting because there are three choices. The majority vote, 46%, said, I hate Mia. Straight up hate her. With the following vote, 33% saying they love to hate her, and then 22% saying that they love her. So honestly, if people are either loving her or loving to hate her, you could combine those results and it would be 55% of viewers either loving her or loving to hate her, with 46% just straight up hating her. So in my mind, I think that's sort of a split vote. I think about half of people are kind of digging Mia, whether she's someone you want to hang out with or she's just someone you like watching, whatever. Seems like possibly the majority of people are okay. And it's tough. She can be a tough character to swallow, so I can completely understand why the haters are hating. My question for the haters too, though, this week is, does it change anything about how you view Mia, in that we had that extra dialogue between her and Abby this week, and then also the extra dialogue between her and Lola, and then with her and Ray? Or is it too little too late? Because Mia was trying with Abby, she was trying with Lola, and then we got a little bit of extra backstory on Friday's episode about Mia and Ray's relationship. When they were recounting the story of their love and getting together, Mia did make it sound like there were some years between when she was with Arturo and when she was with Ray. So when Mia was with Arturo, she knew what Ray, of course, they're brothers. Ray was secretly pining for her, but he never said anything. Then Mia and Arturo break up. A couple years go by. She bumps into Ray on the dance floor and they fall in love. Does that make her seem any less desperate to the people who maybe don't like Mia? I don't know. I liked that Y&R put some effort this week at least toward filling in some of the blanks on her bold character. Phyllis reassures Summer this week that she forgives her for pushing herself on Billy. And then Summer runs along and pushes herself on Kyle. Summer is like Mia, I think, in that she is a bold character, and it's easy to not like her. But I have to say, I don't think that everything that's gone on with Kyle and Lola and Summer is all Summer's fault. I think that Kyle lets her get away with too much. I think that Kyle gives Summer way too much rope. He allows her to flaunt herself in front of him, to taunt him about his relationship with Lola, and he never puts his foot down with her. Summer is on his laptop, grabbing his phone, asking personal questions, and even when he tells her no, she just steamrolls right over him. I actually liked Abby's description when she was talking to Lola this week about people like Summer and Mia, that they are like fire, consuming everything in their path. They don't care about the damage. I'll take it a step further even and say some people enjoy causing damage. There was a very unpleasant and uncomfortable triple date this week. I mean, it was fun seeing all of these couples together, but ooh, was it awkward. Summer and Finn together, Tessa and Mariah together, Kyle and Lola together, all sitting at the coffee house trying to pretend like they're buddies. In reality, Summer was crashing what was supposed to be a double date, pretending that she's involved with Finn and that she's really into him. And Summer just has this subtle, shady way of talking as if she is Kyle's best friend. She knows everything about him, and it makes Lola insecure. Lola begins to realize on this triple date that she's on the outside. She's on the outside of this group of people who have known each other for a very long time, and she's also becoming on the outside of Kyle's life. She has been so busy with her restaurant launch, she's been so busy pursuing something that means something to her personally, that she didn't even realize that Kyle had that sexy photo shoot last week. And Summer made it her mission to go on and on about it. Summer knew all about this photo shoot that wasn't even known to the public. And Summer made sure to rub that in Lola's face. That Lola maybe doesn't know Kyle quite as well as she thinks she does. So Lola got insecure, as Lola does, and she makes up an excuse to leave the date. Well, Kyle follows right along behind her, and he catches her immediately. They start talking, which leads to them arguing, which leads to them having this very big public blow up where everyone in the restaurant, and specifically all of the friends on the date, overheard them talking about what problems may exist in their relationship and talking about that little tiny huge elephant in their relationship that they never really talk about, the fact that they're not having sex. And they've addressed that part before, but more importantly, the thing they talked about in that argument that I haven't heard them talk about before was the fact that Kyle wants to have sex, that he is choking back his urges to have sex with her if she's ever ready. And Kyle has not said before that he fears Lola is hesitant to not have sex with him because she doesn't really trust him. That she doesn't really trust that their relationship was real, that he is trustworthy. And so that's why she's choosing to not take their relationship to that level. And it is true. It is on some level. I mean, I think that Lola has her personal ethics about it, and that is, of course, the main part of it. But I think that Lola does still fear that it's too good to be true and that he's not over Summer. In fact, in the argument, Lola was making a big deal of saying how Kyle is always looking at Summer. Oh, you don't think I noticed, but I noticed the way you're always looking at Summer, or you're trying not to look at Summer, and maybe that says more. I don't know if that's true. Do you feel that way, Y&R Chatters? Do you feel that Kyle has been secretly pining for Summer? Because that's not the impression that I've gotten. I'm not sure that Kyle could have done much more to shut he gives Summer the rope, but I don't think he could have done much more to reassure Lola that he was committed to Lola. I mean, men don't just stop being attracted to people. I mean, you don't just stop being attracted to someone because you're not with them. I mean, but he's done everything he can possibly do to tell Lola and show Lola that she's the one he wants to be with. So she ends up running out on him just after she has a moment of coming to and catching herself and realizing that everyone has overheard their argument, that everyone has overheard her talking about her virginity. I mean, that's humiliating. It's just more information than you want people to have about you. Not that there's anything wrong with being a virgin, but you don't necessarily want the world knowing your business, and you certainly don't want your number one rival in town to hear something like that you're insecure about. I can see both sides of the argument. There's no one's really right and no one's really wrong. Kyle's not really right or wrong. Lola's not really right or wrong, I think anyway. Maybe it's just now become part of that age-old debate of chemistry versus timing. You can have one or the other, but if you don't have both, you don't have the relationship. Kyle and Lola maybe have the chemistry, but they don't have the timing. And in fact, Kyle said something like that himself. He said, maybe I'm just the right guy at the wrong time. Maybe. But see, we keep going down this same path of the argument and then the makeup, and it's just the same as it was the week before and the week before that and the Christmas week with the presents. It's just, they have a fight and Lola storms off and then she realizes she really wants him. And it was no different this week. Lola goes to see Abby and she talks to Abby about the fight that they had. Abby, by the way, has become the stand-in for Tracy. And I liked that. I like this version, Freudian slip. I like this version of Abby where she's trying to do her future sister-in-law-ing and talk Lola through it, but it just gets tiresome. It's the same old cycle with Lola. Only this time, Summer's right there. She's waiting and willing to snuggle Kyle up into her ample bosom. And Kyle's probably going to accept. And it's not even because he necessarily wants Summer, but maybe it's because he feels he deserves someone like Summer instead of someone like Lola. I feel for them both. I really enjoyed the scene where Lola talks to Mia about it. Mia was trying this week. I gotta give her that. And I liked how she jumped into Lola's defense. I mean, the second Lola started telling Mia about her problems, Mia grabbed her phone and said, is it another woman? Let me call that Richie Rich right now, and I'm gonna tell him a thing or two. Have you told Arturo and Ray yet? I just kind of liked the way that Mia was circling the Rosales family wagons, the way the Newmans were circling their wagons this week. I think that family dynamic is great and it's very real. Like, oh, we will tear each other apart, but we will not let outsiders do it. Finn was so wrapped up in Kyle and Lola's drama that he completely misses Devon's party where he's the featured singer. How, seriously, how can Finn be so dense? He was at the coffee house waiting to go to this party because he didn't want to spend too much time overthinking it. He was a little nervous. So he was spending time at the coffee house hoping he could just like come in at the last minute, do his performance and not feel nervous. I get that part, but how could he be so wrapped up in somebody else's little argument that he would let his whole career slip through his fingers? He's not worthy of the career then. Devon is at the athletic club planning this party. This means a lot to him and to his career. He realizes that the featured artist is not showing up. He's panicking. Devon is ready to take the heat and announce to everyone that the entertainment's not going to make it. His artist is not going to make it. Sorry. And then Neil stepped in. Now, I didn't talk about this in the memorial or the chat, the separate audio that I did talking about Kristoff, but I think it, all things considered, for Kristoff's final scenes, for Neil's final new scenes, he was saving the day. Neil was coming to that party to support his son, to support Devon, and not only that, but Neil was the one who encouraged Anna to sing that song instead of Finn. Don't let this be a failure. Take this failure, take this pain, turn it into something positive. You get up there. You sing that song. You help your brother. And you save the day. And that's what happened. And you know what? I mean, I loved it. I loved that scene. I thought it totally worked. I loved that Neil was able to share that one little final bit of wisdom with Anna. I love that he was there being supportive and sharing his wisdom with his son, passing on what he knew to this younger generation. It worked really well. I thought Anna did a hell of a job singing that song. I think Anna's version of the song was way better than Finn's. I had "Show Me What You're Working With" in my head for the next couple of days. And I was very impressed with her performance. She was living. I could not keep my eyes off of her and her dance moves. I know I mentioned this on the website, but the only thing that I was sort of hoping was that maybe, knowing that that was Kristoff and Neil's final episode, that maybe that song would have been more meaningful. I wish it could have been that sad, soulful song that Anna was singing at the piano. Like, help me justify my tears today. Because I was crying. I would have liked something a little more meaningful than, whoa, whoa, whoa. Show me what you're working with. Show me how you do it. That's the only thing that I think could have elevated that final scene. But you know what? Maybe it was meant to be. Maybe we just needed a nice, jammy, chill, lighthearted song to sail us out on what otherwise would have really been a mournful episode. Tessa's back. And she's going to be our new waitress at our new restaurant of Abby and Lola's when it opens. I can't wait to find out what the name of this restaurant is. I hope that they do a cool launch party, like a cool reveal for the new restaurant and hopefully the new set and everything. I think they did a really cute reveal for letting Tessa actually get the job. Lola and Abby had interviewed Tessa, and she did really, really well up until the end when she had to explain that she was fired from her job at Crimson Lights for blackmailing the boss. Yeah, that tends to not go over real well with employers. So, Tessa tells Mariah that she thinks she blew the interview, and Mariah can see how much this job really means to Tessa. I think Tessa said something to the effect of, I just want to have a job so I can feel human again. And Mariah decides to take it upon herself, be a little fairy godmother. She follows up with Abby and Lola to give Tessa a personal reference. Also follows up with Sharon and asks kindly to back up this personal reference just in case they call her about it. And Abby and Lola were very impressed with Tessa anyway. In many ways, she probably had the job all on her own. But Abby and Lola let Mariah be the one to deliver the good news to Tessa. It was funny because Tessa was stuffing her face with cake, eating her feelings when Mariah came into the coffee house and tells her the good news. And then Tessa does a little happy dance and they kiss and they're happy. And I do hope that this is a fresh start for Tessa. No more lies, no more schemes, just revamp the character, let her be the cool, nice girl who is worthy of Mariah, please. Slapstick is underrated. Who said it? Why, it was Kyle. Kyle was leading Lola blindfolded into their sushi lunch. And she said, "What am I going to knock into something here? I'm blindfolded." And he said, "Yeah, sure. That's it. Slapstick is underrated." Remember last week when they were just happy as two little sushi rolls? And now they're broken up for who knows how long until they have another argument and break up again. Congratulations, Anna, Sandra, Henry, Nancy, Gary, Laura, Cece, Joanne, Ellen, Ambreen, and Liz. You guys all guessed that quote right. Here's my favorite one of the week. I don't know. I like it. It makes me laugh a little. And I think we need that this week. Who said it? I swim in a sea of crazy. I swim in a sea of crazy. If you think you know, you can go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on the next Y&R Chat. Okay, everybody, that is it for me for this week. I think there's probably a good strong possibility that you might not hear from me next Sunday. I sure will try, but next week should be the weekend that my move is completed. So I'll have internet and everything, but that's going to be the big push weekend. Right now, I'm moving the things I can move, and next week I'm actually getting some moving help to move the heavier items that I can't get myself. And I think that weekend's going to be a little bit more hectic. So I may try to bump in through the week or something. I have been at the website chatting, of course, about the show and of course about Christoph. So if you want to still connect with me, the website is yrchat.com. I am loving and responding to your comments there too. And I also have to mention, even though I mentioned this in the separate audio, that there is a specific thread that's up at the website for all of your thoughts and condolences and feelings and reactions to Christoph St. John's death. So if you would just like to pop in, maybe you're not normally a participator or a commenter, I hope that maybe this is something that prompts you to come in and connect with some other fans who are feeling the same loss as you, because as we're all feeling grief about this, and maybe it would help a little bit just to connect it in with some other people who are feeling the same thing. So Y&R Chat is the website if you want to talk about Christoph, or if you want to talk about anything having to do with the weekly shows. Again, I probably will not check in next Sunday, but I sure will try, and I will be watching, and I will be reading comments, and I will be seeing you again soon. Everybody have a really good week or 2 weeks. I love you so much. Bye.